stuff, and I think we're all here. So let's make a start again. Even though it's windy out there, I'm going to just shut this down a little bit. Okay then, so planks, obviously lots of abdominal work, but also just work those shoulders. So we're just going to set the shoulders to begin with. Deep breaths as we shove the shoulders up towards the ears, breathing in, and then as you breathe out, just slide those shoulders down, tuck them into your back pockets. Same again, so just a nice simple breath in as the shoulders rise up and out as they slide down and away. Let's just bring our focus to that deep abdominal wall, so just gently drawing some tension in towards your tummy as you breathe and shrug those shoulders. We've got one more, so enjoy that difference of feeling between holding the tension with the shoulders up by the ears and then releasing that tension as we drop it down and away. And we're going to use this next one to set that shoulder position. So really slide the shoulder blades down, use those muscles in the mid-back to kind of connect them down to your waist. The tummy is drawn in, and we're going to stop the ribs from flaring upwards. As we breathe in, bring the arms up and overhead. Don't let those shoulders creep up. And then we breathe out, bring them round and down towards your side. So just a nice big circle. Still slow movement, so we can really connect in with our breathing. Really focusing on that shoulder blade placement as the arms move. So we're thinking about our shoulders are an anchor for our arms. So we create nice stability around the shoulder girdle, shoulder blades, the mid-back. And those arms can move beautifully. Good, a few more circles. Lovely. Okay, now I want you to imagine you're stood in front of a door, okay? Your knees are going to remain soft, but as your arms come up, you're going to shut that door with your bottom, okay? So you're going to stick your bottom out, but nice long spine, and then those arms circle around, we stand up tall again. So there's a little bit of a hip hinge, yeah? So shoulders come up, sorry, hands come up, hips go back, and then we push back up to stand. So avoiding the tail, so we don't want the bum sticking out, keep that tail tucked underneath. And just think about shutting your door, and it gives the illusion that the hands are now in a different position, but what we've done is as we've pushed the hips back, we've created that diagonal line, and we've got a little bit more then to pull the tummy up and away from, so we're drawing up against gravity a little bit more. Yeah, so it's not a squat, we're hinging at the hips, so the knees are just soft, gently bent, but they don't bend anymore. And as you hinge at those hips and shut that door behind you, you should feel the hamstring muscle just lengthen slightly. And if you're really not sure if you're getting that, go and stand in front of a door, open it, and then try and shut it with your bum. Okay, let me see how you're getting on. Looking good. Fabulous. I think we've all mastered that. Okay, so we're going to hold this next one. So bring your hands forwards, take your hips behind you. Now, when you're happy with what you're doing, your gaze is just a couple of feet in front of you. Watch those shoulders, drop them away from your ears, draw your tummy towards your spine, and then we're going to just do a little alternate heel lift. Okay, so just raising up onto tiptoes on one foot, lowering down and raising up on the other. So because we're in that diagonal line, all of these back muscles now are working hard to hold those limbs, those arms up and in place. Tummy gently drawn in, stand up if you need to, and then reset. Shut the door with your hips, hands above your head, and just peel those heels. Okay, option to do the single heels, or we take it into double heel lift. Now, nothing changes at your hip position. So that heel lift just comes from you raising and lowering the heels. So we're not kind of coming up and down. So your head position doesn't change, but your kind of knees lift and lower those arms. Should be getting super heavy now. So stand up and shake them out if you need to. Otherwise, keep it going, single or double, 10, 9, tummy drawn in, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, looking good, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Come round, down, and push up to stand. Oh, give those arms a little bit of a shake out. Okay, we're going to give the arms a rest, but we will come back to them in a moment. Hands on your hips. So we're going to take it into our squat now. So just have that kind of hip distance stance. We're going to drop down into our squat. We're going to push up to stand, and then we're going to step one leg out to the side. Wide squat, push down, up, back to the center. Take it to the opposite end. So stepping out, squatting down, pushing up, and stepping in. Now make sure when you come in you don't completely close down. So we've got that little squat in the middle, narrow squat to wide squat, back to narrow squat, okay? And if you want to, you can make it a little bit more of a smooth movement. So step and land in the squat, push back, squat, a bit more dynamic, or break it down into sort of separate stages. So we step, we squat, we step, we squat. Get that heart rate up. See if you can travel the whole width of your mat. So nice big step out. We're going to keep these squats as low as we can get them. So starting to warm up a little bit now. Take those hips a little bit lower. Step side to side and squat. Good. There's not a huge amount with the legs today, so this is where you get your leg working. Looking good. Keep going. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come to a wide squat position for me. Turn the toes to the corners of the room. We're adding those arm circles back in. So we come down with a squat, we bring the arms up, and then we push up to stand, round and down. Lovely. Straight backs, shoulders stacked over hips. Push those knees into the corners of the room. Remember, we've got that little grape underneath the arch of each of our feet. So we don't want to squash the grape down. So we're just going to push into the outer border of the feet a little bit. Looking good, guys. 3 more. Legs should be very warm now. 2 more. Whew. Holding your next one for me. Hands above overhead. Work those shoulders. Set that shoulder position, and you're here. Or we're going to go for a little pulse. So just at the bottom of that movement, imagine you're sitting on one of those big gym balls and you're just bouncing, or a space hopper. Keep going. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Slowly push up to stand and bring those legs back in again. I'm going to have to lose a layer because I'm getting quite warm now. Okay, good stuff. A little bit more on the legs before we come down into those lovely planks that I told you about. So we're going to do a bit of work still with the arm sequence, but adding in our split squats now. So I'm going to turn side on. You can stay where you are, but I just want you to make sure you've got enough space behind you. So feet is a hip distance apart, hands on your hips. Step 1 foot out behind, keep the back heel lifted, and then we're going to take it down into our split squat. And then we're going to push back up to the stand. It's the same side, yeah? So we can really focus on our technique without adding too much movement. If your balance is a little bit thrown off, find something just to keep you steady. And remember, the goal in this one is to get that back knee down and try not to let that front knee travel forwards. So remember that door that you were just shutting with your bottom? Now you want to stand in front of the door and make sure your front knee doesn't touch that door as you come down into your split squat. So if you're shutting the door with your knee, something's going wrong, we want to keep it open. Keep your posture nice and upright. I know these are tricky. Use that wall to help you. Looking good. Okay, now if you don't feel like you need to use the wall, we're going to add those arms back in. So you just do 1 arm if you need to, or 2 arms. So we come down, float the arms up And then as we push back to stand, it's round and down. Squeeze your buttock at the back, yeah? This is a really good one for your hip muscles, but you are going to feel it in this thigh as well. 6 more. Can you go a bit deeper for your final 6? Good work. Tray of drinks resting on your head. Can you keep your balance? Can you keep your poise? Can you keep your control? Can you ignore those loud signals coming from your legs and do 3 more for me? 2 more. And hold this next one. I'm sorry, but we're going to pulse it out. So hands come up and over, shoulders away from the ears. Either hold it here or pulse. 10, 9, 8, I know, 7, 6, 5, I'm feeling it, 2, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely, slowly come up to stand. Feet back together, give those legs a little bit of a shake out. Woo! That was a tough one. Okay, unfortunately we have to do it all over again. Opposite leg now. Okay, we're going to try and do just as many. Second side. We know it comes to an end, but we know it gets hard before we get there. So step back with your opposite leg. With this one, just checking on your pelvic position. Make sure your hip bones are resting level. Hands on the hips tend to help with that. And then just start to drop down into that back knee. Again, front foot. Think about that grape as you come down. Don't squash your grape with your front foot. So you don't want that knee to drift in. We want to keep that little gap on the underside of the foot for that grape to rest. And we want to keep our spine nice and long. Shoulders stacked over hips. And our tray of drinks is resting beautifully on our heads. And then when we're ready, we're going to add our arms back in. So double arms if you're not using your arms for balance, or a single arm if you're holding onto the back of a chair or the side of your wall. Draw your tummy in as the arm floats up and release as it comes back down. And really squeeze that hip on that back leg. Get those glutes working. You should find that it gives you a little bit more control. Check those legs out if you need to and join back in again. Beautiful, looking really strong with these. I know they're tough, but they really do get the job done. You've got 4 more. I think I've done the same leg twice, yeah. 3, 2, set yourself up for that hold or that pulse. Hands overhead, tummy drawn in, off we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. How did you get on with that second side? Oh, killer. Little movements, but they do get those leg muscles working. Okay, we're going to do a few roll downs, and that's going to bring us down onto the mat where we are just finishing with some plank work. So stand at the end of your mat facing inwards. Set yourself up for some roll downs. So nice and tall to begin with. We'll just do a few of these just to open up the back. We should have got the blood pumping through those legs now, so we should be really feeling the benefits of all of that lovely strength work, so that we feel just that little bit more elastic through the back of the legs. So remember that these roll downs are all about creating movement at every bone in the spine. So take your time just to peel down. Knees are soft. Then when you get to the bottom, come back up to stand. So those hip hinges that we did earlier, they've just lengthened our hamstrings out a little bit. So you should kind of feel that gentle pull. When you get to the top, we go down again. And we just breathe through these. No need to think about anything other than how your body feels and how deep you're able to breathe. Let the back of the head relax. Chin drops towards the chest. And then the head places nice and gently back on the top before we go again, rolling down. Things should be loosening off nicely now, so we're just going to do a couple more. Make sure you're breathing. Make sure your mind hasn't taken you elsewhere. Okay, we're going to use this one just to hang out a little bit more, and then we'll come down onto the mat shortly. So on your next one, just rolling down, roll, roll, roll through every bone in your spine. Don't need to rush it. And then when you're there, just imagine you are a rag doll. Just let everything hang loosely. Feel the blood rushing to the end of your fingertips. Feel that heaviness set in as your arms are just swinging freely off the ends of your shoulders. No anchoring being done now. We've released those anchors and just letting that weight set in, using the upper body just to stretch out the lower body. And then bend your knees and come down onto your mat. We're going to set up in our box position. Okay, just give you a second just to make any adjustments on your mat or your camera. So yeah, lots of work. Prepping kind of plank work is all about the box to begin with. So if you find any of the higher level stuff too much of a challenge, then you can always come back to this. So we're just going to start in a nice swish from side to side with the tailbone, just to lengthen out the size of the waist. So shortening on one side and lengthening on the other. Imagine you've got a big bushy tail and it is just swishing from side to side. Feels really good just to open up the side of the body. And then we're going to do the opposite with that. So we're going to swish that tail up and down. So just some pelvic tilting. So not a complete cat-cow. So your head just rests level, okay? But you're just working the bottom end of your spine, just to limber everything off, yeah? And then that allows us to find that kind of neutral spine position somewhere in between the two of those. So tail isn't sticking up or down, and it's not sticking side to side either. It's nice and central. You're going to draw your tummy towards your spine. So that shouldn't change the position of your back. The position of your back stays level. Tummy drawn up towards your spine. And then we're going to take it into swimming. So we take one leg and we slide that leg out along the length of the mat. Now the leg can stay connected to the mat, or we can take it one step further, squeeze the hip and float the leg off. Don't spill your tray of drinks resting on your back. Then we're going to tap it down, or we're just going to take it back in again, but we're going to bring it all the way in. So past the box position, and see if you can draw your knee towards your chest. Try not to curl your spine though. Go as far as you can before your spine wants to curl, and then take it back to box position. Swap sides, yeah? So lengthen, 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 lengthen. Maybe add the lift. Then we lower and touch down, and then we slide back in and bring that knee towards our hands. Tighten your tummy as your knee comes in. It should feel like it does when we do any kind of abdominal crunch work. It's that shortening of the ribs towards the pelvis, but just in the opposite way now. Okay, so take it slowly. I want these super duper slow, so you're really working on controlling, and you're not just using lots and lots of this action to extend your hip, yeah? So no bananaing of the back and no curling of the spine when we get here. So the top half, all of that lovely shoulder control work that we did at the beginning comes in now, because the top half doesn't move. Your pelvis stays level. It's just your leg. Let me come and see how you're getting on with those. Lovely. Now these are going to come back in a short while. So just do a couple more. Isabel looking great. Yvonne looking good. That's it, Jill. Bring it in. Tighten your tummy. Beautiful. Nice control. Everyone who I can see is doing a great job. If I can't see you, I'm sure you're doing a good job too. So keep it going. Let's do one more on each side. Now remember these, we're going to come back to these, okay? But for now, you're going to take one leg, you're going to slide it out behind you, maybe lift the leg off the mat, okay? Holding here, tighten the tummy towards the spine, or we take it into pulse. Now with every pulse, I want you to squeeze your glutes, okay? Really connecting in to those glute muscles. It should feel like somebody's just clamping down on your buttock, and that's lifting your heel a little bit higher. If you're not doing the pulse, just hold and keep a nice strong connection with those glutes. But remember, your back stays level. So we're not using the back to arch to lift the leg. Yeah, we're keeping that back level as we keep pulsing. We're going to pulse or hold for quite a while now. Beautiful. Now make sure you're not tipping across to the side, so your hips are staying level. Have a glance down at your leg that isn't moving and make sure your hips stayed over your knee. If you're kind of drifting off to one side, you just need to push yourself back into center. This is when I tend to walk around and push you into center if you're in class. Okay, keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to fatigue those glutes now. Hold the leg where it is, but bend the heel towards the bottom and straighten out. So just taking it into our leg kick, heel to the bottom and straighten out. Now what this will do beautifully is lengthen the front of the hip as well. So if you notice as you try to drag your heel towards your bottom, your knee sags down, it indicates you're a bit tight at the front of that hip. So try your best to keep those hips lifted. Okay, again, just checking on that leg that isn't moving. Make sure you've not drifted off to that side on your mat. 3 more kicks, heel to bum. Your hamstrings should be working now. We felt those in our warm-up. They're back again. 2 more. And then you're going to hold this next one. So your heel towards the ceiling. Flex your toes and either hold here, squeeze your bum, or we pulse once more, yeah? Really important now. We're not using that tail arching to get that pulse. We're using those glutes. Push through your heel, squeeze your bottom, or just hold. Good work. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. And sit back to your heels and just rest off those wrists. Okay, so building up the tension in these wrists for the planks that are coming. Have a little breath. So those glutes, they are going to create a lot of control and stability for us around our pelvis. So we need to make sure that they are firing off. So let's go for that second leg now. So when you're ready, set yourself back up in your box position, okay? Second side, extend the leg out behind, float the foot off the mat, and we either hold or we take it into that slow pulse. Imagine a piece of string tied around your heel, just gently being tugged up to the ceiling and released. I want you to picture your glutes. Think of those lovely buttock muscles, the ones that do so much for you in the day. Give them a squeeze every time that heel lifts, or hold that squeeze if you're not pulsing. Yeah, after your heart, your glutes are probably your most important muscle in your body. Good work. Checking in on your, making sure you're not twisting off to the side. Looking good, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Same leg, keep the knee lifted, drag the heel to the bum and stretch out. To the bum and stretch out. We're going for those hamstrings, yeah? Try and keep that knee in line with your hip. If you've got any way of checking that out, you can do through a mirror or something. Good. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Keep that heel lifted now. Flex the toes and hold or pulse here. Pulsing. Imagine there's a panic button on the ceiling. It's going to get you out of class. Press it as much as you can. 10, 9, watch that back nice and long. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Down we come. And we're going to sit back into our heels from there. So just give yourself a chance just to stretch out. Maybe just sway your hips from side to side, just to loosen off your lower back and pelvis, okay? So as I said, that pelvic kind of hip warm up, well, it's not really a warm up, is it? Just getting all those glutes working to create pelvic control as we progress onto these planks. Okay, so running out of time, so bring yourself back into your box position. We're all going to start in our kind of knee lift and just do a couple just to warm us up. Okay, so toes tucked underneath, set your box, head lifted, shoulders away from your ears, tailbone lengthened, tummy towards your spine, and hover your knees off the mat. I think we did these last week. We know what we're doing with these. Yeah, lift and lower. Connecting in now with those tummy muscles. So really pull your tummy towards your spine for a deeper connection with your abs, but believe you me, those abs are working. If you're feeling it in your back, think more about your abs. Yeah, use that strength around your trunk to lift those knees off the mat. Okay, we're going to take it into a full plank if you wish. Okay, so walk your hands forwards, lift and stretch forwards so that the shoulders come over the wrists. Okay, if that's too much, take it back into mini plank. Okay, pause at the top and then come back down. Okay, knees hover off, set the plank, pause at the top and then come down. So your options are really kind of to go to knee plank or full plank, and then maybe hold it a little bit longer if you wish. So you're trying to create a diagonal line through your body from shoulders to heels. Good stuff. Squeeze those thighs, get those knees as straight as you can if you're in full plank option. Okay, remember those knee movements we did from earlier? They're going to come back in if you want to give them a go. Okay, you can do this in both options. I'll show you in the knee lift option. Okay, knee lift option, we draw the knee towards the tummy, we stretch it out behind, place the foot back down. You can do it the other way if you want. So stretch out behind, draw the knee towards the tummy and set back down. Okay, full plank option, we come through, lift the leg, draw the knee towards the tummy, stretch it back out again and then set down. So lift, knee to tummy, stretch away and set back down. Options as well within that is that you can just kind of lift and lower in between, or you can build up a little bit of endurance work and just bring those knees, drive them forward, straighten them out, drive them forward, straighten them out, keep going with them, building up your repetitions. Imagine you're climbing up a mountain, keep those legs moving, keep it going, give those wrists a little bit of a shake out. Jumper's coming off. You've only got about 4 minutes left, so last little push. Built these planks up, so let's make the most of them, looking really strong. Try not to rush those leg movements, nice and slow, just as we did when we were in a box. Didn't it feel so much nicer in a box without those knees and maybe those legs straight as well? Beautiful. Keep it going. Take your wrists when you need to, shake those wrists out. Remember, you could do this over a table. Not sure how well you can see this. Lean into a table. In fact, I'll do it here. Leaning into a table, yeah. Knee up, up behind and back in. That's a nice standing option, just to take the load out your wrists, okay? Whichever option you're doing, I'm very proud of you and I want you to keep it going. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretch one leg out behind and hold. Lift and hold. So we're in a 3-point plank, either with the knee bent or straight. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Drop the knees if you need to. Go into the second side. Final side. Squeeze those hips. 10, 9, 8, 7. Last push. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. We made it. Come down. Sit back into your heels for one more stretch out. Arms out in front. And catch your breath. Kept you going just for a little push on that last one. Really good. You're going to feel it in your shoulders tomorrow. loads of weight going through those wrists and arms, which is really important to strengthen things up. So well done if you got through that, especially if you have any wrist or shoulder issues. And you can feel it in your hips as well, aren't you, really? You can feel it everywhere. So I hope you enjoyed. Have a little longer stretch out if you need to, or feel free just to come back just to say goodbye.